My bestie skinned me alive as a sacrifice to an evil god, praying to become me and steal my rich, loving mom and my hot, loyal boyfriend. Little did she know, I am the evil god and my mom and boyfriend are my most devoted followers. I was drugged. When I came to, I was tied to a pillar in an abandoned warehouse. In front of me was a massive mirror. My best friend, Fay, was standing there, smiling and holding a dagger. I stared at her in horror. She took the dagger and carved a cross into the crown of my head. Fay, what are you doing? I heard my own voice crack with fear. Both Fay and I came from single-parent homes. We'd been best friends since we were kids, practically inseparable. Fay grabbed a flask of mercury and poured it over the top of my head. My eyes went wide. Fay, you're insane. A crazed grin spread across Fay's face. Mia, why is it that we're both from single-parent families, but you get to be rich and beautiful, with such a great boyfriend? And me? My mom is poor and tacky, and my boyfriend just dumped me. She pressed the dagger into the cut on my scalp and began slicing downwards. Tell me, why is that fair? The mercury seeped between my skin and bone, separating them. An agony so intense shot through to my very marrow. I looked at Fay, my eyes pleading. Fay, please let me go. I'll give you anything you want. But her eyes were wild, completely focused on the task of cutting away my skin. After Fay peeled my face off, I couldn't speak anymore. All I could do was shake my head frantically. The huge mirror reflected the gruesome scene. My entire skin had been stripped off, leaving nothing but a bloody raw body. Fay dragged my skin over to a hideous, terrifying idol. She pricked her finger and dripped her blood onto the statue. I heard Fay's thoughts. I want to become Mia. Great and powerful evil god. This is the offering I have prepared for you. I felt it then. The sheer wickedness in Fay's soul was exhilarating. The smell of fresh blood sent a shiver through me. Even though Fay had flayed me alive, her soul was intoxicatingly fragrant. I do love wicked humans. And now I had a new loyal follower. Why not grant her wish? I bestowed the appearance of Mia upon Fay. Fay looked in the mirror, touching her new face, ecstatic. She turned and ran out. Now where to next? I decided to follow Fay, or rather the new Mia, home. Though I'd been skinned, my flesh was not yet dead. I dragged my bloody body into my mother's villa. I hid myself inside the walls of the house. There, piles of bones kept me company. They were all offerings my mother had made to her evil god. Mia ran home excitedly. Mom, I'm back. My mom was in the kitchen making soup. She heard the voice and hurried out. Mia, you're back. I made you some of your favorite soup. Go have some. Mia's eyes reddened. In her old life, her mother was always busy gutting fish to make money. Who had the time or energy to make soup? Mia threw her arms around my mother, burying her head in her chest. Mom, you're the best. My mom stroked Mia's hair. Who else would I be good to if not you? Her eyes were filled with adoration. Only I could see the murderous intent lurking behind that loving gaze. My mother's name is Susan. The first time I met Susan, she was a young woman, her body covered in scars rail thin. She was bloody and had a wild look in her eyes. Susan's story was an old, tired one. Her parents had arranged her marriage when she was still in middle school. She tried to run away, but they caught her and locked her in a cage in the basement. She spent days in that sunless cage, losing all track of time. They kept her there until the day her new husband's family came to collect her. Her husband turned out to be an abuser, too. Soon after, she became pregnant. Her husband kicked her in the stomach, causing her to go into premature labor. The baby girl, Mia, was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck. She wasn't breathing. Susan snapped. Her husband sent the crazy Susan back to her parents. She wandered around day after day, disheveled and muttering to herself. Then, in a pile of trash, Susan found it. Instructions on how to summon an evil god and have her deepest desires granted. With blood as the catalyst, the greater the wish, the greater the price. The evil god feeds on resentment and fear. The more the sacrifice suffers, the more potent the wish. Susan drugged her parents and her younger brother, and locked them in the same cage they had once locked her in. In front of her parents, she slowly, methodically tortured their precious son to death. Her mother went insane, screaming and shrieking until Susan cut out her tongue. Her father, full of hate, cursed her, wishing her a horrible death. So every day, Susan would chop off one of his fingers. His curses eventually turned to pleas for mercy. Her father died in agony. Her mother starved to death. The three souls, saturated with pain and suffering, awakened me from my seal. An evil God isn't all-powerful. I couldn't bring the dead back to life, even I couldn't grant that request. But Susan was my most loyal follower. She had offered me a magnificent feast and woken me from my slumber. I couldn't let my follower down. So I deigned to possess the body of the baby, Mia, and became her perfect, obedient daughter. My mom pinched Mia's cheek. My Mia has such perfect skin. After you finish eating, Mom will take you upstairs for a beauty treatment. You have to start taking care of your skin at 20. Our upstairs was equipped to the standards of a professional spa. We were rich enough to be eccentric. Mia's eyes widened with joy. Thanks, Mommy. She ran to the dining room and started drinking the soup. My mother shot Mia a dark look. My mom raised me. I was the daughter she had traded 3 lives for. I was her entire world. If I coughed, she knew I needed water. If I frowned, she knew the house was too cold. Did she really think this Mia could replace me without her noticing? Besides, I never drink that kind of soup. As a self-respecting evil god, I only eat junk food. But my mother's wish was for Mia to live again. As the god who granted that wish, I had to ensure Mia stayed alive and well. After finishing the soup, Mia started scratching her face. One by one, red, angry welts began to pop up on her pretty face. Mia looked in a mirror and screamed. The mirror fell to the floor, shattering into 1,000 pieces. My mom gently took Mia's hand. Mia, what's wrong? Let's go upstairs, and I'll put some ointment on it. Mia gave my mom a complicated look, but followed her anyway. They stopped at a door. My mom opened it, revealing a room filled with coffins. Mia gasped and stumbled back. It's just that I prefer dark environments, so my mom had our spa beds custom made to look like coffins. Tap, tap, tap. A sound came from one of the coffins. It slowly creaked open, and a baby girl with blue-tinged skin and pure white eyes crawled out. Sister, sister, sister. The baby's long fingernails dug into Mia's delicate calf, leaving a greenish handprint on her pale skin. The baby's name is Yaya. She was a gift from my boyfriend, a top OBGYN. Yaya's mother had been forced by her husband's family to have an abortion because they found out the baby was a girl. To save Yaya, her mother went into hiding. But her husband's family found her, dragged her to a hospital, and forced the procedure. Yaya's mother died on the operating table. The stillborn baby, Yaya, was given to me by my boyfriend. He knows I like weird things. Mia paused for a moment, then bent down and picked up Yaya, pretending to gently pat her on the back. She walked over to the window, a vicious glint in her eyes, and opened it. Who's your sister? Go to hell. Mia raised her arm to throw Yaya out. My heart skipped a beat. Yaya is my favorite pet. Yaya opened her mouth, revealing sharp teeth, and bit down hard on Mia's wrist. My mom rushed over, scooped Yaya up, and cooed, Yaya, be a good girl. Sister was just playing with you. Yaya's teeth had torn a chunk of flesh from Mia's wrist. The wound was already turning a bruised purple, and a rotten smell began to rise from it. Yaya's eyes, solid white, were now shot with red veins as she stared. Ugly. Ugly bad person. Not sister. Mia glared venomously at Yaya. Mom, what is this thing? My mom flicked Mia on the forehead. This is your little sister, Mia. Don't you remember? Mia forced a strained smile and made an excuse to go back to her room. In the room full of coffins, my mother started to wipe away tears. She spoke to Yaya. I don't know where your sister has gone. I don't know what this imposter did to her. Ah well, she didn't do much. Just peeled off my skin. My mom is my most loyal follower, after all. I couldn't bear to see her cry. Luckily, I brought my flayed skin with me when I came back to the villa. Fine, I'll put it back on. I ran up to the attic to put on my skin. A sharp pain shot through me. Someone was strengthening my seal, and my power was weakening. As a result, I couldn't get my face on properly. My skin from the neck down was as white as snow, but my face was a bloody mess. I looked up and saw my mother approaching. I quickly covered my face. I was afraid of scaring her. Sweetheart, You always hide here when we play hide and seek. My mother embraced me, acting as if she didn't see the horrifying state of my face. So how did my mother recognize me? I don't really get it either. Mom dressed me in a beautiful dress. She also brought my favorite food, fried chicken. None of this good stuff for that imposter. Fried chicken. Awesome. The two of us shared the meal. I told my mom, that imposter is also one of my followers, friends. My mom doesn't know that I'm the evil god herself. I can't blow my cover. I instructed her, Mom, whatever you do, don't kill her. My mom replied reproachfully, Mia. What nonsense are you talking about? How could your mother possibly kill someone? Then where did the bones in our walls come from? I didn't argue with her. She just wants to be a good mother in front of me. The attic was nice and dark. I liked it. I decided to sleep here tonight. The next day, my boyfriend drove over to pick up Mia for dinner at his place. I secretly hid in the trunk. I had to keep an eye on my boyfriend. I was afraid he might actually kill Mia. I hid inside a large stuffed doll in his living room. My boyfriend opened the door for Mia like a gentleman, and she stepped shyly over the threshold. He flipped on the lights and knelt on one knee, as if to help Mia with her slippers. That's when an entire living room full of infant specimens was revealed to Mia. My boyfriend has a kind heart. He couldn't bear to just throw away the aborted babies, so he preserved them all as specimens. Yaya was originally going to be a specimen too, but since she could talk, my boyfriend gave her to me. Mia flinched, but then she looked down at my boyfriend and her happy smile returned. His beauty was captivating. Under the light, my boyfriend's features were exquisite, his skin pale. He was almost inhumanly handsome. Of course he was. I sculpted that face myself. I could hear Mia's heart pounding. My boyfriend took off Mia's shoes, his perfect brows furrowing. You stink. Mia's expression turned awkward. My boyfriend swept her up into his arms and carried her to a large dressing mirror. He pushed Mia in front of it. Look at you. Your face is covered in welts. It's hideous. And you smell awful. You're filthy. My boyfriend looked at Mia with disgust. Mia trembled, her hand rising to touch her face. The rash had already spread to her neck. She sniffed her wrist. The spot where Yaya had bitten her was rotting and foul. Mia stumbled towards the door, stepped on a thumbtack on the floor, and fell. She let out a scream and scrambled out of my boyfriend's apartment on all fours. My boyfriend threw her shoes out after her and shut the door coldly. He went to the bathroom and washed his hands for a long time. When he came out, he picked up the large stuffed doll from the living room. I was in his arms, staring right at him. My boyfriend placed me on the sofa and unzipped the doll from behind. He kissed my long, flowing hair. I clung to the sofa for dear life. I really didn't want to turn around. It wasn't that I was afraid of scaring him. I was afraid. Honey, be good. I won't hurt you. It'll hurt. I don't want to. My boyfriend has OCD and a serious case of professional habit. He insisted on stitching my face back on. I really didn't think it was necessary. Besides, not having a face seemed more in line with my evil god aesthetic. My boyfriend coaxed me, honey, you gave me a face. I want to give you one too. He was staring at me with a face handsome enough to be sacrilegious. I had no choice but to give in. As my boyfriend stitched my face, I reminisced about how we met and fell in love. My boyfriend was born without facial features and was abandoned by his parents. The midwife who delivered him took pity and adopted him. Growing up, he was constantly bullied by other children because he had no face. The midwife was a kind soul and taught him to be kind as well. Inspired by her, my boyfriend decided to become an OBGYN. But what good is returning malice with kindness? The village chief's daughter-in-law had a difficult birth, and the family demanded that the midwife save the baby, not the mother. Out of professional ethics, the midwife saved the mother, but the baby didn't make it. The midwife, who had spent her life being kind to others, was pushed to the ground by the chief's son. She hit her head and died. The chief's family was powerful and influential. They covered it up, claiming she had simply fallen and died on her own. My boyfriend was just a young man, but he was stubborn. He grabbed the chief's son and jumped into the river with him. Back then, my mom was busy starting her business, so I was playing by the river alone. I was drawn to the evil emanating from my boyfriend. Apparently, so was the Water Wraith. The chief's son had already drowned, and my boyfriend was on the brink of death. I grabbed my boyfriend's head, while the Water Wraith pulled at his feet from the other end. I am, after all, a mighty evil god. Under the pressure of my divine bloodline, the Water Wraith obediently let go. Well, that's what I told my boyfriend. In reality, because my seal wasn't fully broken, the Water Wraith wasn't afraid of me at all. The chief's son was about to become a Water Wraith himself, though he hadn't fully formed yet. I had to use my divine power to speed up his transformation. One body of water can't contain two wraiths. The chief's son and the original Water Wraith started fighting. Score. One evil deed for the day done. While the two wraiths were busy trying to kill each other, I dragged my boyfriend ashore. I saw his jumbled mess of a face. Gods can sculpt people, right? Well, so can evil gods. To be honest, my hands were just itching to do it. I sculpted my boyfriend's face based on the shoujo manga I'd been reading that week. Then I realized I'd saved the wrong person. The evil one was the chief's son. He had raped and murdered a girl when he was younger, maybe more than one. My boyfriend's soul was just average. Not delicious enough to be interesting. Disappointed, I turned to leave, but the now conscious boyfriend grabbed my leg. He looked at his handsome reflection in the river's surface and asked, "Are you a god?" It was the first time someone had recognized me as a god to my face. This evil god was very pleased. I tossed him my business card. The card was actually a summoning card for an evil god, similar to the one my mom found. It was getting dark, and I was worried my mom would be angry if she couldn't find me, so I scurried away. After all, my mother's wish was for her daughter to be alive again. I had to be a good daughter. The next time I saw my boyfriend, he had just burned down an orphanage and was looking at me with a delighted expression. My boyfriend's soul had turned black. Much more delicious. The children stood behind him, their faces blank. All the adults had died in the fire. My boyfriend summoned me. His wish was to follow me. My loyal follower. His wish was granted. My mom even funded the construction of a new orphanage to take in those children. My boyfriend then led that group of kids to become my followers. I looked at my face in the mirror. My boyfriend had done a great job with the stitches. He really was the best OBGYN around. His kisses fell on the fine lines of the stitches, a tingling sensation spreading across my skin. My boyfriend's soul was the perfect mix of pure and evil, intoxicatingly fragrant. No, if I stayed any longer, I was really going to commit sacrilege. I have things to do. I'm leaving, I said, pushing him away and standing up. My boyfriend chuckled, grabbing my arm and pulling me back onto the sofa. He licked my earlobe gently, whispering in my ear, "Honey, don't you want to experience the pleasure of Adam and Eve?" My whole body trembled as I gave in to the decadent pleasure. One day Daddy got drunk, picked up an axe and went to Mommy. Oh Daddy, he chopped many times, and the red blood painted the walls red. A creepy nursery rhyme ringtone shattered our blissful moment. It was my phone. My mom was calling. Her voice came through the phone, frantic. "Yaya's gone. I was just in the kitchen killing a chicken, and she disappeared." I closed my eyes and reached out with my senses. I could feel it. Mia's hatred and obsession were growing stronger. I could hear Mia's thoughts. She wanted to burn Yaya and the orphanage my mom funds to the ground. It was both an offering to the evil god and revenge for the humiliation she suffered at our house. Mia's wish was to restore her rotting skin and beautiful face, and to make my boyfriend worship the ground she walked on. My foolish follower. Too bad I have no interest in the souls from that orphanage. Mia had gotten her hands on a book from somewhere, the Codex of Divine Sealing. The book was mostly about how to seal an evil god. Its section on summoning rituals was brief. If the wish is great, a life must be given in exchange? The Codex failed to mention that the life I require must be one filled with darkness and hatred. I'm an evil god with standards. Just like how I only eat fried chicken, I only accept dark souls as offerings. The adults and children at the orphanage my mom funds are all relatively pure. I don't accept them. I raised an eyebrow at my boyfriend. We'll have to try this again later. This god has to go rescue her pet. With a snap of my fingers, I teleported to Mia's side. Mia was kneeling before my idol. Yaya was trapped in a cage, her hands tied and her mouth gagged. I possessed the idol. Foolish follower, I have heard your summons. Mia's eyes widened. Great evil God, you can hear me? Of course I can, I said impatiently. Who do you think turned you into Mia in the first place? Mia began to weep with joy. Mia's mother drugged me, and her boyfriend said I was disgusting. She scowled at Yaya in the cage. And this thing, it actually bit me. Yaya threw herself against the bars of the cage, trying to get at Mia. My heart ached. Only I get to cage my pets. You don't just mess with someone's dog. Mia said to me, Great evil God, help me, and I will sacrifice the entire orphanage to you. I didn't want to listen to her anymore. I don't want the lives from the orphanage. I want Gary's life. Mia froze. Gary was Faye's biological father. Gary had just gotten out of prison last month and had already made a wish to me. I still remembered his bloodshot eyes. Great evil God, I offer my daughter's life in exchange for a lifetime of wealth and prosperity. Family turning on each other, killing one another. That's a scene this evil God loves to see. Mia didn't hesitate for long. Your wish is my command, great evil God. Just then, a woman burst into the abandoned warehouse and slapped a yellow talisman onto the idol. An excruciating pain shot through my soul. I sensed that she was the one who had sealed me all those years ago. It was Faye's mother, Linda. No wonder Faye had my idol. She must have taken it from her mother. That codex of divine sealing Faye had was probably her mother's too. Mia cried out, Mom, what are you doing? Linda looked at Mia with suspicion. Mia awkwardly looked away. A mother knows her own child. Just as I don't know how my mom recognized me, Linda still recognized that Mia was really Faye. Linda pointed at Mia and yelled, I knew you took the idol. Linda was on the verge of a breakdown. You foolish girl. I told you, this thing is dangerous, dangerous. You just wouldn't listen. I told you your father wouldn't listen to me back then. He made a wish to this thing, and he ended up in prison. And now you've fallen under its spell too, turning yourself into this monstrous thing. I mentally shrugged. That was a complete and utter lie. Back then, Faye's father, Gary, had tried to offer his daughter's lifespan to me in exchange for great wealth. I ignored him. Gary went to prison entirely on his own merit. He got high on drugs and beat someone half to death. After getting out of prison, he hit rock bottom and once again tried to trade his own daughter's life for riches. Mia fired back. If you weren't so useless, so poor and powerless, would I have needed to be jealous of Mia? You have the power to seal an evil god, so why do you spend your days selling fish? It's all your fault, all of it. I just want to be Mia. Her mom is so gentle, so beautiful, so rich. Linda clutched her chest and raged. Am I not good to you? You ungrateful brat. Back when your Aunt Susan and I were thinking of expanding our shops, you got that kidney infection. All our money went to getting you a new kidney. Faye rolled her eyes. My bad health is your fault too. You're the one who gave birth to me. The two of them went back and forth, their argument growing more heated. My consciousness began to fade. I slowly materialized in front of them. Mia was shocked. You're Mia? You're not dead? Linda, however, had a grave expression. She is not Mia. She is the evil god. I have finally waited for the day I can destroy her with my own hands. Linda pulled out a snake-shaped dagger and lunged at my heart. I dodged. The dagger pierced my shoulder. My energy was draining, and the skin I had put on fell away. The face my boyfriend had stitched on, however, remained firmly in place. He really was the best doctor in the business. Through a reflection, I saw my face rapidly turning pale. Was I, a mighty evil god, really going to die unceremoniously in this abandoned warehouse? Bang bang bang. Yaya was frantically ramming the cage, her skull starting to deform from the impact. Linda saw Yaya and frowned at Mia. Whose child is this? A gurgling sound came from Yaya's throat. Her solid white eyes were now tinged with blood red. Those blood red eyes were fixed on Linda and me. Linda said to Mia, let the child out. She looks so pitiful. Mia didn't move. Linda actually felt sorry for Yaya. An idea began to form in my mind. As my power faded, Mia's appearance also began to dissolve, revealing Faye's own round face. Faye ripped the talisman off my idol. Some of my power returned. I pushed Linda away and pulled out the dagger. Linda roared at Faye, what are you doing? Faye sneered. If the evil god dies, who will give me beauty and a handsome boyfriend? A truly loyal follower, willing to do anything for her own selfish desires. That's the kind of quality a follower of this evil god should have. Fay smiled sweetly. Mom, you can imprison the evil god and make her grant our wishes. Of course, I wasn't about to wait around for them to imprison me. I grabbed Yaya and teleported away. We went back to my boyfriend's place. I didn't dare go home. I didn't want my mom to see me in my bloody state. My boyfriend's apartment was spotless. I just sprawled out on his carpet. I let Yaya out, and she rubbed against me. Sister, sister, Yaya loves sister. In the full-length mirror, I could see my own blood monkey appearance next to a blue-skinned infant with a deformed skull. I scooped Yaya up and gently molded her skull back into shape. My boyfriend, the neat freak, gently picked both of us up and placed us on his bed. He looked at me with adoration. Honey, are you cosplaying as a snake king lately? You're always shedding your skin. I am a god, I said, trying to maintain my divine dignity. Suddenly, a bit of my power returned. I slowly pulled my skin back on. I was once again my mom's beautiful daughter, Mia. The sound of the creepy nursery rhyme filled the air. My mom's voice came through the phone. Honey, your boyfriend told me you've been feeling weak lately. Mom killed a chicken for you to help you get your strength back. Huh. I reached out with my senses. My mom hadn't killed a chicken. The abusive deadbeat who abandoned my mom had lost all his money gambling and was being chased by loan sharks. He had actually come to my mom for help. My mother, a true saint, found a place to hide him and even hired someone to bring him 3 meals a day. She fattened him up nicely. Today, my mom paid a visit to the deadbeat's hiding place, tied him up, and sliced open his stomach. The man had a strong will to live and screamed his head off. He watched in horror as my mother pulled out his intestines and tied them into a beautiful bow. He died from the pain. My mother prayed for her daughter Mia's safety and well-being. No wonder some of my power had returned. The soul of an abuser is very nourishing. And the fact that he died so horribly made it even better. My boyfriend carried me to the bathtub and gently washed all the blood off me. He left both our phones in the living room and coaxed Yaya to go play with the specimens. My boyfriend carried me back to his bedroom and locked the door from the inside. Time for some sacrilege. It was indeed supreme pleasure. The mortals weren't lying about this one. The next day, my boyfriend went to work at the hospital. I put on his clothes and took Yaya home. When my mom saw me wearing my boyfriend's clothes, her expression was strange. There was a hint of gritted teeth. It seems no mother likes the thought of her precious daughter doing things with her boyfriend. My mom asked, "Did you use protection?" What? That thing my mom stuffed in my bag before? Yes, I did. My mom took my hand and sat me down. The table was covered in fried chicken, fried drumsticks, fried nuggets, fried wings. She really did kill a chicken. I was starving, so I dug in. The doorbell rang. My mom went to get it. Linda's voice rang out, "Susan, I brought you some fish." My mom sounded surprised. "Well, Linda, what brings you over to visit today?" Linda walked in, craning her neck to look into the living room. She saw me eating fried chicken. Linda said to my mom, "Do you know what you've raised? This isn't your daughter. It's an evil god, a demon." Linda walked towards me, holding the snake-shaped dagger. My mom blocked her path with a kitchen knife. "I don't care. I've raised her for 23 years. She is my daughter. She's my heart and soul." My cheeks were stuffed with food. I looked at my mom, touched. Linda took a step forward. The dagger met the kitchen knife, and the knife's edge curled. "I'm here today to help you get rid of this menace." My mom glared at her, shielding me with her body. "Your daughter is the menace," my mom said. "My daughter is my sweet, caring girl. Your daughter doesn't even want to be your daughter." That hit a nerve. Linda looked momentarily lost. My mom continued, "We both used to sell at the market. My daughter knew how to care for me, giving me shoulder rubs every day. Your daughter just complained about how you smelled." "Shut up," Linda roared. I swallowed the meat in my mouth and added fuel to the fire. "Linda, I think something's happened to Fay." Linda quickly did a mental calculation, and her face changed drastically. Oh, the sins of the father. It was indeed a sin. Fay had been trying to kill her father, Gary. But Gary acted first, hitting Fay with his car. Fay was in the hospital now, in critical condition. She wasn't going to make it. Because I had already consumed Fay's soul. A soul full of selfishness and jealousy. Truly delicious. Linda's eyes blazed with fury as she rushed out the door. I finished my meal and went upstairs with my mom to do our beauty treatments in the coffins. I hugged Yaya and said, "Sweetie, I found a good home for you." Yaya replied, "No, I want sister." I smiled. "Looking like you do now, you'd have to stay in this villa forever. You should get to see the outside world." Linda had been at the hospital by Fay's side for over 10 days. Fay was the only family she had left. Even though Fay might not have wanted Linda as a mother, Linda could never let go of her daughter. It was their shared devotion to their daughters that had made my mom and Linda best friends in the first place. They were always discussing how to give their girls a better life. Ever since Fay was a child, even though Linda worked tirelessly gutting and selling fish to pay for her schooling, she never let Fay go without. Unfortunately, Fay was Gary's daughter through and through. She resented Linda for being poor but never once tried waking up early to wash and sell fish herself. Fay was selfish, never satisfied, and endlessly greedy. I went to visit Fay with a bouquet of white chrysanthemums. Linda looked haggard, as if she had aged 10 years. "What are you doing here?" I gave her a wicked smile. "Linda, do you want to save your daughter? You can if you become my follower." Linda stared at me coldly. "In your dreams." I put down the flowers, a smirk playing on my lips. I whispered in her ear, "Go kill Gary. Offer him to me as a sacrifice, and I will bring your daughter back to life." Linda looked like she was about to attack me. Suddenly, the machines connected to Fay started blaring. Nurses and doctors rushed into the room. I calmly walked out of the hospital. It seemed Linda was determined not to stoop to my level. But who knows? 3 days later, Gary was killed in a hit and run. In the abandoned warehouse, a trembling Linda pricked her finger and dripped her blood onto my idol. "Damn you, bring my daughter back to life now." I hugged Yaya. "Yaya, this is a good mother. She will show you the wonders of the world." Yaya slowly disappeared from my arms. Of course, I couldn't actually resurrect Fay. An evil god never keeps her promises. But Fay's body was a perfect vessel for Yaya. In the hospital, Fay, who had been declared brain dead by the doctors, opened her eyes. They were large, clear, and innocent. The doctor said, "It's a medical miracle." But due to the severe brain damage, the patient's intelligence has regressed to that of a young child. Linda looked at Fay on the bed with a complex expression, lacking the usual excitement of a family member. Fay saw Linda, tilted her head with a smile, and called out innocently, "Mommy?" Linda went over and embraced Fay. "Mommy will raise you all over again." Compared to the original Fay, Yaya was adorable, innocent, and kind. I think she's a much better fit as Linda's daughter. An evil god's morality always follows her preferences. At the fish stall in the market, you can now see Linda selling fish every day with her daughter, Fay. It's the first time anyone has ever seen Fay there. Before, Fay would never deign to go to the market, complaining about the smell. This Fay is very obedient. If you ask her to weigh a fish, she weighs it. If you ask her to gut a fish, she guts it. When she has nothing to do, she squats down and talks to the fish. Fay has a round, cheerful face, and everyone at the market adores her. Linda smiles more now too. She looks much younger. My boyfriend moved into our house, making it more convenient for his daily sacrilege. My mother was thrilled. She's been wanting a grandson and a granddaughter. Now that Linda had become my follower, she returned the fragments of my divinity to me. The reason I was so weak and could be sealed before was because my divinity was incomplete. After I absorbed my divine fragments, I discovered something. I'm not a fucking evil god. I'm the god of suffering. In times of turmoil, the world was full of misery, and the god of suffering had countless followers. The other gods were jealous. The god of suffering, in exchange for peace and prosperity, diminished her own divinity to protect her followers, leaving her temporarily weakened. The other gods seized the opportunity to seal her. The god of literature wrote the Codex of Divine Sealing. The task of sealing the evil god was assigned to a carp spirit under the command of the god of fortune. After all, in those days, the common people had little fortune to speak of. So the god of fortune didn't have much to do and couldn't support too many idle followers. Linda has been reincarnated countless times. Every time I break free, she seals me again. But now, I've turned her into one of my followers. No one can seal me anymore. Still, after being an evil god for so many years, I've kind of grown to like it. Evil god just sounds more badass. I'll just keep this little secret to myself. And if the other gods come looking for trouble, I'll beat them so hard their own mothers won't recognize them. After my boyfriend dies, I plan to turn him into my attendant spirit, so he can keep me company. Epilogue 1. Boyfriend's POV. I don't know what kind of god my girlfriend actually is. She calls herself an evil god. But in reality, I'm the evil god. I awakened my divinity after my parents abandoned me. Honestly, I could have taken on any appearance long ago. But I felt that having no face was a fitting look for an evil god. Growing up, I was bullied a lot for having no face. But the kids who bullied me would always get bitten by a dog the next day, or a snake. Oh, some fell out of trees too. I never did anything that bad. The midwife also worked as a professional mourner to support us. If there was a funeral, she wouldn't have time to tell me bedtime stories. I loved the folk tales she told me, like stories about weasels turning into spirits. Humans are so fragile. The midwife died. I kicked the village chief's son into the river. I was planning on turning him into a specimen, so I jumped in after him. I didn't expect a water wraith to sense my immense divine power and latch onto me. I quickly suppressed my power. Then someone grabbed me by the hair. A clear, divine energy flowed through me. It was very comfortable. I let myself be pulled up, enjoying the sensation. The divine energy flowed over my face, a feeling of pure bliss. I couldn't help but open my eyes. A beautiful, delicate girl rolled her eyes at me in disgust and turned to leave. I instinctively grabbed her foot. Are you a god? What I meant to ask was, what kind of god are you? It was my first time meeting another of my kind. I flubbed my line. The girl seemed very happy. She smiled sweetly. I am the great evil god. I realized the girl loved being called a god, and she thought I was human. I had just suppressed my divinity, after all. She even tossed me a card that read evil god summoning spell. Ah, so she's an evil god. Then what am I? The girl seemed to be in a hurry and ran off. I was hungry, so I ate the 2 water wraiths in the river. But I still wasn't full. That girl from before, she seemed delicious. I went to the orphanage. The adults at the orphanage had special tastes when it came to children. I ate a few of the adults, but they tasted awful. It seemed only the girl who called herself an evil god could whet my appetite. I burned down the orphanage and summoned the girl using the method on the card. The wish I made at the time was to commit sacrilege. I suppressed my divinity, but not my desire. My girlfriend refused to accept that wish. Her face turned beet red, and she told me to pick another one. I just stared at her quietly. God, I wanted to eat her so badly. My girlfriend extended her pale right hand to me. You shall follow me for eternity, and I shall protect you for eternity. I had already figured out how to eat her, but I changed my mind. I wanted to find out just how long eternity was. And while I may not have been able to eat her then, I have eaten her now. The forbidden fruit of mortals is truly delicious. I want to spend 100 years with her in this human form. And after a century, when our mortal bodies have turned to dust, I will tell her, I am the evil god. I truly can't wait to see the look on her face. Epilogue 2. The final truth. The god of suffering is dead. The evil god dreams. Friends, stop dreaming. You've lived this long and never heard of a god of suffering, have you? That's because the god of suffering died in that age of universal misery. Her body and soul were destroyed, not even a fragment of her divinity left behind. The god of suffering sacrificed herself willingly, for the sake of all mortals, for the suffering masses in a time of chaos. But in my view, the other high gods who did nothing to stop it are all guilty. If I hadn't been on the front lines fighting demon gods, I would never have allowed it to happen. In my hatred and regret, I fell. I became the evil god. Countless times, I used my divine power to create dreams, to resurrect the god of suffering. But that god of suffering was merely a creation of mine, a puppet that moved according to my will. I have been lonely for 1,000 years. My only pastime is to create these illusions to deceive myself. From ancient times to the modern era, I finally saw a glimmer of hope. Human technology is truly amazing. I uploaded the God of Suffering's memories to the cloud, then connected those memories to the internet. And a living God of Suffering actually appeared. A God of Suffering living in the modern world. At first, she was a bit strange and disjointed. I repeatedly debugged and rebooted this black box. Data has memory. The God of Suffering believes she was sealed and unsealed over and over again. Now the God of Suffering has finally been resurrected inside the black box. I know it is her. And the boyfriend is merely a sliver of my own consciousness. A few days ago, I got into a fight with the high gods over this human technology. My consciousness seems to have developed a mind of its own. I need to merge with it quickly. I have decided to abandon my identity as the evil god and upload all my memories to the cloud as well. What's so great about being a god anyway? I won't cause any more trouble for the world. I will destroy my idol, and then go to the digital world to live happily ever after with the God of Suffering.